Welcome to Mythic Rest. Heimdall, the solitary guardian of the gods. In Norse mythology, Heimdall remains shrouded in mystery. Unlike Odin, celebrated as the All-Father, or Thor, known for his mighty deeds, Heimdall is enigmatic. His origins are obscure. His true nature is ambiguous. What we know comes primarily from the Poetic Edda and the Prose Edda, texts preserved by Christian monks in Iceland. They tell us that Heimdall was born in an unusual way. He had 9 mothers, all daughters of Aegir, the god of the sea. No other god had 9 mothers. No other being had such a birth. The number 9 is sacred and powerful in Norse mythology. There are 9 realms connected by the world tree Yggdrasil. Odin hung himself on the tree for 9 nights to gain knowledge of the runes. 9 worlds must be traversed to reach the deepest secrets of the universe. The number 9 appears repeatedly, always associated with power, knowledge, and transformation. Heimdall's birth from 9 mothers suggests that he was born connected to all 9 realms, created to perceive and comprehend all aspects of the cosmos. His role was multifaceted. He was the watchman of the gods, guardian of Bifröst. But he was more. According to some texts, Heimdall was the creator of human society. In the journey of Rig, he travels through the 9 realms in disguise, visiting 3 couples and fathering children with them. These children become the ancestors of the 3 human classes: the Jarls, nobles and warriors; the Carls, farmers and craftspeople; and the Thralls, servants. Thus, Heimdall shaped human society and human destiny. His domains were light, dawn, vigilance, and protection. He was the god invoked when one needed to be alert, to see clearly, to protect oneself from danger. His relationship with Odin was complex. Odin was supreme, but Heimdall was not subordinate like other gods. He had his own domain, his own responsibility. Some texts suggest rivalry, others alliance. The truth probably lies between both. His status among the Aesir was unique. He was not as powerful as Odin or Thor, but he was essential in ways others were not. Without Heimdall at Bifröst, the 9 realms would be vulnerable. Without his vigilance, chaos could invade Asgard at any moment. He was the guardian between order and chaos, and for this reason, he was respected. The mystery surrounding his true nature generated speculation over centuries. Some scholars suggest he was originally a giant or dwarf, later incorporated as a god. Others, that he represented a pre-Indo-European deity absorbed into Norse mythology. Still others, that he was the personification of dawn, of the light before the sun, of the moment of transition between darkness and light. What is clear, Heimdall was a god of great importance, even if his story is less known than Odin's and Thor's. He represented vigilance, protection, and the maintenance of order. He taught about the price of responsibility, the burden of knowledge, and the loneliness of those who watch while others sleep. The 9 mothers, an unprecedented birth. Heimdall's birth was extraordinary. Unlike other gods, he was born of 9 mothers, all daughters of Aegir, the god of the sea. This unique birth shaped his nature profoundly. Aegir was a powerful giant who governed the sea and the forces of water, known for his hospitality and his great feasts in his underwater hall. His daughters were beings of great power and beauty, connected to the sea, to water, to the natural forces that flow and change. When these 9 daughters united to generate Heimdall, they created something unprecedented. The number 9 is sacred and powerful. There are 9 realms connected by the world tree Yggdrasil. Odin hung himself on the tree for 9 nights to gain knowledge of the runes. 9 worlds must be traversed to reach the deepest secrets of the universe. The number 9 represents completeness, totality, the fullness of existence. By being born of 9 mothers, Heimdall was connected to all 9 realms. He was born with understanding of all aspects of the cosmos. His mothers gave him connection to the sea, to water, to the flowing forces of nature. They gave him connection to fertility, birth, the creation of new life. They gave him access to the depths, to hidden places, to secrets beneath the surface. His birth also suggests something about his role as creator of human society. In the journey of Rig, he travels through the 9 realms and creates the 3 human classes: This creation is not a simple act of procreation, but a complex act of shaping society, establishing order, creating structures that allow civilization to function. The fact that he was born of 9 mothers suggests he possessed the power and knowledge to create and shape society in all its complexity. The 9 mothers also gave him a unique perspective. He was not born of 1 father and 1 mother, but of 9 mothers, each bringing their own perspective, knowledge, and power. This gave him a multifaceted understanding of the universe, the ability to see from multiple perspectives, an understanding of the complexity and interconnectedness of all things. The magical properties of his unusual birth were extraordinary. His senses were superhuman. His eyes saw 100 leagues in every direction. His ears heard the grass growing. His body was strong and resilient. His mind was sharp and perceptive. These abilities were not simply the result of his divine nature, but of being born of 9 mothers, of creation from the combined power of 9 beings of great strength and wisdom. The connection between Heimdall and the sea, coming from his 9 mothers, was significant. The sea symbolizes change, flow, the constant movement and transformation of the universe. Heimdall, born of the daughters of the sea god, carried within him this understanding of change and transformation. He knew the universe was not static, that all things were in constant flux, that change was inevitable. This understanding informed his role as watchman. He knew the forces of chaos were always present, always seeking to break through the barriers that contained them. He knew that vigilance was necessary, that constant observation was required to maintain order in a universe in constant transformation. The Gjallarhorn, the trumpet of fate. In Heimdall's hands rests one of the most powerful objects in Norse mythology, the Gjallarhorn, the trumpet of fate. Its power is immeasurable. It is not simply a musical instrument, but a symbol of destiny, a tool of transformation, a trumpet that can shake the very foundations of existence. Its origins are mysterious. Some texts suggest it was created by the dwarves, master craftsmen of the Norse cosmos. Others that it was given to Heimdall by Odin as a symbol of his role as watchman. What is clear? The Gjallarhorn came into Heimdall's hands and he guarded it carefully. It is described as made of gold or of material even more precious. Its beauty is secondary to its power. The true power lies in the sound it produces. When blown, the sound echoes through all 9 realms, so loud, so powerful, so piercing that it cannot be ignored. It is a sound that awakens every being in existence, that calls them to attention, that announces something of great significance. Heimdall guards it with extreme care. He does not blow it lightly. It is reserved for the most important moments, when the fate of the 9 realms hangs in the balance. And according to prophecy, there is one moment when Heimdall will blow it, and that moment will change everything. The prophecy is clear. When Ragnarök comes, Heimdall will blow the Gjallarhorn. The sound will echo through all 9 realms, awakening every being. The gods will hear it in Asgard and know the final battle has begun. The giants in Jotunheim will know it is time for their attack. The dwarves, elves, and dead will also hear it. Every creature, every being, every entity in the 9 realms will hear the sound and know the end has come. The blowing of the Gjallarhorn is the signal that Ragnarök has begun. It is the moment when Heimdall's eternal vigilance ends, when he must leave his post at Bifröst and enter the final battle. It is the moment when the fate of the 9 realms is decided, when the cycle of creation and destruction reaches its climax. Its significance in Norse cosmology is profound. It represents the power of sound, of communication, of a single action changing the course of history. It represents the moment when the hidden becomes revealed, the secret becomes known, the inevitable becomes actual. It represents the transition from one age to another, from the age of gods to the age of chaos and destruction, and eventually to the age of renewal and rebirth. The Gjallarhorn is also a symbol of Heimdall's power and responsibility. He guards it. He will blow it when the time comes. This responsibility is both honor and burden. Honor because it shows Heimdall is trusted with one of the most important objects in the cosmos. Burden because it means he carries the weight of knowing when the end will come, of knowing he will be the one to announce it, of knowing his action will initiate the final battle. Compared with other mythological trumpets and horns, the Gjallarhorn is unique. In other mythologies, horns call warriors to battle, announce important arrivals, signal the beginning of events. But the Gjallarhorn is different. It is not simply a tool of communication. It is a tool of fate, a trumpet that announces the end of the world, a horn that signals the transition from one age to another. Its power is absolute. Its significance is cosmic. Its impact is eternal. Bifröst, the rainbow bridge and its guardian. At the edge of Asgard, connecting the realm of the gods to the other 8 realms, stands Bifröst, the rainbow bridge. It is one of the most beautiful and most important structures in Norse mythology, and Heimdall stands at its entrance, guarding it, protecting it, maintaining it day after day, year after year, century after century. Bifröst is described as made of 3 colors: red, green, and blue. Some texts describe it as made of fire, water, and air. Others as made of pure light, a bridge of pure radiance that connects the different realms of existence. It is beautiful beyond measure, a sight that takes the breath away of any being who beholds it. But its beauty is not its most important characteristic. Its function as a connection between realms is. Bifröst connects Asgard, the realm of the gods, to Midgard, the realm of humans, and to the other realms of the Norse cosmos. It is the primary route by which the gods travel between realms. It is the path by which they visit humans, by which they interact with other beings. Without Bifröst, the 9 realms would be isolated, unable to communicate, unable to maintain the connections that hold the cosmos together. Heimdall's role as guardian of Bifröst is crucial. He stands at its entrance and decides who can cross and who cannot. He knows every being that passes. He knows where they are going and why. He knows what they carry and what they intend to do. Nothing escapes his attention. No one crosses Bifröst without his knowledge and approval. The daily crossing of the gods is a regular occurrence. They travel back and forth, visit other realms, conduct their business, maintain relationships with other beings. Heimdall observes all these crossings. He sees the gods come and go. He sees other beings who travel the bridge. He maintains constant vigil, ensuring that no one who should not cross is allowed to do so. But Bifröst has a vulnerability. It is beautiful, but not invulnerable. It is strong, but not infinitely strong. And according to prophecy, there will come a time when it will be tested, when it will be pushed to its limits, when it will ultimately break. At Ragnarök, when the forces of chaos assault the 9 realms, the giants will march toward Bifröst. They will seek to cross it, to invade Asgard, to destroy the realm of the gods. And Bifröst, despite its beauty and strength, will not be able to resist. It will break under the weight of the giants. It will shatter into pieces. The connection between realms will be severed, and Heimdall will watch as the bridge he guarded for so long is destroyed. The destruction of Bifröst is one of the most significant events of Ragnarök. It represents the breaking of the connections that hold the cosmos together. It represents the isolation of the realms from each other. It represents the failure of the barriers that contain the forces of chaos. And it represents the end of Heimdall's role as guardian of the bridge. When Bifröst breaks, Heimdall must leave his post and enter the final battle. The symbolism of Bifröst is profound. The bridge represents connection, communication, the maintenance of relationships between different parts of the cosmos. It represents the order that holds the universe together, the structures that prevent chaos from overwhelming everything. It represents the beauty and fragility of existence, the fact that even the most beautiful and most important things can be destroyed, that nothing is permanent, that all things eventually fall. Heimdall's role as guardian of Bifröst is thus of great significance. He is not simply a watchman at a bridge. He is the guardian of the connections that hold the cosmos together. He is the protector of the order that prevents chaos from overwhelming everything. He is the one who stands between the realms, maintaining the barriers that keep them separate, ensuring that the forces of chaos do not invade Asgard and destroy everything. The journey of Rig, Heimdall as creator of humanity. One of the most fascinating and least well-known aspects of Heimdall's story is his role as creator of human society. In the journey of Rig, Heimdall travels through the 9 realms in disguise, visiting 3 couples and fathering children with them. These children become ancestors of the 3 human classes, and through them, Heimdall shapes the entire structure of human society. The story begins with Heimdall, also called Rig, walking along a road. He comes to a humble cottage where he meets an elderly couple. The man is called I, great-grandfather, and the woman Edda, great-grandmother. Heimdall stays with them for 3 nights, sharing their bed. 9 months later, Edda gives birth to a son called Thrall. Thrall is dark-skinned, with thick fingers and a strong body. He grows to be a servant, a laborer, someone who works with his hands to support himself. From Thrall descend all the thralls, the servants and slaves of human society. Heimdall continues his journey and comes to another cottage where he meets a middle-aged couple. The man is called Afi, grandfather, and the woman Amma, grandmother. Again, Heimdall stays with them for 3 nights. 9 months later, Amma gives birth to a son called Karl. Karl is of medium build, ruddy complexion, strong constitution. He grows to be a farmer, a craftsman, a builder. He works the land and creates things with his hands. From Karl descend all the Karls, the farmers and craftspeople of human society. Finally, Heimdall comes to a grand hall where he meets a couple of noble bearing. The man is called Fathir, father, and the woman Mothir, mother. They are dressed in fine clothes and live in luxury. Heimdall stays with them for 3 nights. 9 months later, Mothir gives birth to a son called Jarl. Jarl is fair-skinned, with a slender build and noble features. He grows to be a warrior, a leader, a noble. He rules over others and makes decisions that affect the fate of many. From Jarl descend all the Jarls, the nobles and warriors of human society. The significance of this story is profound. Heimdall, the watchman of the gods, the guardian of Bifröst, is also the creator of human society. He is the one who established the 3 classes of humans, the structure that would define human civilization for ages. He is the one who shaped human destiny, who determined that some humans would be servants, some would be craftspeople, and some would be rulers. But the moral implications of this creation are complex and troubling. Heimdall created a society based on hierarchy, on the division of humans into different classes with different roles and different statuses. He created a society in which some humans were destined to serve others, in which some were destined to labor while others ruled. He created a society in which inequality was built into the very structure of human civilization. This raises difficult questions about Heimdall's character and intentions. Did he create this hierarchy because he believed it necessary for human society to function? Did he create it because he believed different humans were naturally suited for different roles? Or did he create it simply because he had the power to do so, because he could shape human society according to his will? The connection between Heimdall and human destiny is thus complex. Heimdall is not simply a distant god who observes humanity from afar. He is intimately involved in human affairs. He is the one who shaped the structure of human society. He is the one who determined the roles different humans would play. He is the one who, in a sense, created human civilization itself. The journey of Rig also reveals something about Heimdall's nature often overlooked. Heimdall is not simply a watchman, a guardian, a being who stands apart from the world. He is also a creator, a shaper of destiny, a being actively involved in the world. He travels through the 9 realms. He interacts with humans. He fathered children who became ancestors of human civilization. He is a god who is present in the world, involved in the affairs of the world, who shapes the world according to his will. Heimdall and Loki, an ancient enmity. In Norse mythology, there are many relationships of conflict and rivalry, but few are as ancient, as bitter, and as significant as the enmity between Heimdall and Loki. These 2 gods are enemies in the deepest sense, and their conflict will ultimately lead to the destruction of both at Ragnarök. The origins of the conflict are somewhat obscure, but one incident stands out as particularly significant. According to some texts, Loki stole the Brisingamen necklace, a piece of jewelry of great beauty and value. The necklace was created by the dwarves and was owned by the goddess Freya. Loki took it and hid it. Heimdall, in his role as guardian of order and justice, pursued Loki and recovered the necklace, returning it to Freya. This incident, though seemingly minor, was the beginning of a deep and lasting enmity. Loki, the trickster, the one who delights in chaos and deception, could not forgive Heimdall for thwarting his plans and recovering the stolen necklace. Heimdall, the watchman, the one who stands for order and justice, could not forgive Loki for his theft and deception. But the conflict between them goes deeper than a single incident. It is a conflict between two fundamentally different principles. Heimdall represents order, vigilance, justice, and the maintenance of the status quo. Loki represents chaos, trickery, change, and the disruption of order. Heimdall seeks to preserve the 9 realms as they are. Loki seeks to transform them, to shake them up, to introduce chaos and change. These two principles are fundamentally opposed and cannot coexist peacefully. The battles between them are legendary. They have fought many times over the ages, neither gaining decisive victory. Their conflicts are fierce and bitter, filled with cunning and strategy. Heimdall uses his superior senses and understanding of order to anticipate Loki's moves. Loki uses his trickery and ability to change shape to evade Heimdall's grasp. Neither can defeat the other, and so their conflict continues, unresolved, waiting for the final confrontation. The prophecy is clear. At Ragnarök, Heimdall and Loki will face each other one final time. This will not be a battle like the others. It will be the final confrontation, the moment when one or both will fall. And according to prophecy, both will die. Heimdall will kill Loki, but Loki will kill Heimdall. Both will fall in the final battle. The symbolism of this conflict is profound. Heimdall and Loki represent two fundamental forces of the universe: order and chaos, stability and change, justice and trickery. The conflict between them is not simply personal rivalry, it is a cosmic struggle, a battle between two principles essential to the functioning of the universe. And at Ragnarök, this struggle will reach its climax and both principles will be destroyed. The fact that both will die in their final confrontation is significant. It suggests that neither order nor chaos will ultimately triumph. Neither will be victorious. Instead, both will be destroyed, and from their destruction a new world will be born. This reflects the Norse understanding of the universe as a cycle of creation and destruction, of order and chaos, of birth and death. Nothing is permanent. All things eventually fall, but from the destruction, new things are born. The relationship between Heimdall and Loki is thus key to understanding the nature of the Norse cosmos. It is a cosmos in which order and chaos are locked in eternal struggle, in which neither can defeat the other, in which both are necessary for the functioning of the universe. And it is a cosmos in which the struggle will eventually reach its climax, in which both order and chaos will be destroyed, and in which a new world will be born from the ashes of the old. Deep symbolic meaning, the price of vigilance. The story of Heimdall is ultimately a story about vigilance, about the burden of responsibility, about the price that must be paid to maintain order in a chaotic universe. To understand the deeper meaning of his story, we must explore the symbolism that lies at the heart of his tale. Vigilance is burden and responsibility. To be vigilant is to be constantly alert, constantly aware, constantly ready to respond to danger. It is to never allow oneself to relax, to never allow oneself to rest, to never allow oneself to forget that danger is always present. Heimdall embodies this vigilance. He stands at Bifröst, day and night, year after year, century after century, never sleeping, never resting, always watching, always alert. But this vigilance comes at a terrible cost. Heimdall cannot enjoy the pleasures that other gods enjoy. He cannot feast in the halls of Asgard. He cannot form close friendships with other gods. He cannot rest and relax. He cannot have a moment of peace or quiet. His entire existence is defined by his vigilance, by his responsibility to watch over the 9 realms. The cost of being all-seeing and all-hearing is also profound. Heimdall can see everything that happens in the 9 realms. He can hear every conversation, every whisper, every secret. This knowledge is both blessing and curse. It is a blessing because it allows him to do his job as watchman, to know about dangers before they arrive, to be prepared for threats. But it is a curse because it means he knows about all the suffering, all the pain, all the cruelty that exists in the 9 realms. He cannot escape from this knowledge. He cannot choose to ignore it. He is forced to witness everything, to know everything, to be aware of every tragedy that occurs. Knowledge is both power and curse. To know something is to have power over it, to be able to respond to it, to be able to act on it. But to know something is also to be burdened by it, to be unable to escape from it, to be forced to live with the knowledge of it. Heimdall's knowledge of all that happens in the 9 realms gives him great power, but it also burdens him with the weight of knowing about all the suffering and pain that exists. The isolation of the watchman is another key theme in Heimdall's story. The watchman must always stand apart from those he watches over. He must always be vigilant. He must always be ready. He must always be willing to sacrifice his own happiness, his own peace, his own rest for the sake of those he protects. This isolation is not a choice. It is a necessity. It is the price that must be paid for the role of the watchman. The sacrifice of sleep, of rest, of peace is a central theme in Heimdall's story. Heimdall never sleeps. He never rests. He never has a moment of peace. His entire existence is defined by his vigilance, by his refusal to allow himself to relax or to let down his guard. This sacrifice is not a temporary one. It is eternal. It lasts for the entire duration of Heimdall's existence, from the moment he took his post at Bifröst until the moment he blows the Gjallarhorn at Ragnarök. The theme of duty versus personal happiness is central to understanding Heimdall's story. Heimdall has a duty to perform. He has a responsibility to maintain order in the 9 realms, to guard Bifröst, to stand vigilant against the forces of chaos. This duty is more important than his personal happiness. It is more important than his desire for rest, for peace, for companionship. Heimdall accepts this. He understands that some things are more important than personal comfort. He understands that duty sometimes requires sacrifice. The question that lies at the heart of Heimdall's story is this: is eternal vigilance worth the cost? Is it worth sacrificing sleep, rest, peace, companionship, and happiness in order to maintain order in the 9 realms? Is it worth standing alone at Bifrost, day after day, year after year, century after century, knowing that you will never rest, never relax, never have a moment of peace? The Norse answer to this question is yes. In the Norse worldview, duty is more important than personal comfort. Justice is more important than personal happiness. The maintenance of order is more important than the desires of individuals. And the willingness to sacrifice oneself for the sake of something greater than oneself is the highest virtue. The symbolism of light and darkness in Heimdall's story is also significant. Heimdall is associated with light, with dawn, with the coming of the morning. He is the god who sees clearly, who perceives truth, who dispels darkness and confusion. But he is also associated with the burden of seeing, with the knowledge that comes from light, with the inability to escape from what is revealed by light. The light that Heimdall brings is not always comforting. Sometimes it reveals things that are painful to see, things that are difficult to know. The bridge, as a symbol of connection and separation, is another important theme in Heimdall's story. Bifröst is a bridge that connects the 9 realms, that allows communication and interaction between different parts of the cosmos. But it is also a barrier, a boundary, a line that separates the realms from each other. Heimdall stands at this bridge, maintaining the connection while also maintaining the separation. He allows some to cross while preventing others from crossing. He is the guardian of the boundary, the maintainer of the separation, the protector of the order that keeps the realms distinct from each other. Cultural legacy and modern influence. The story of Heimdall did not end with the ancient Norse people. It did not fade away with the coming of Christianity and the decline of Norse religion. Instead, it has echoed through the centuries, influencing culture, art, and literature in ways both obvious and subtle. The story has been retold, reinterpreted, and reimagined countless times, and each retelling has added new layers of meaning to the original tale. In medieval Norse literature, the story of Heimdall was preserved in the Poetic Edda and the Prose Edda, collections of ancient Norse myths and legends that were written down by Christian monks in Iceland. These texts preserved the story in its original form, allowing it to survive the transition from pagan Norse religion to Christian Europe. The story was also depicted in medieval Norse art, in carvings, sculptures, and illuminated manuscripts. These artistic representations helped to keep the story alive in the minds of the Norse people. even as their religion changed. As time passed, the story of Heimdall became less well known in mainstream European culture. It was overshadowed by other myths and legends, by the stories of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, by the tales of classical mythology. But the story never completely disappeared. It remained alive in the cultures of Scandinavia, in the traditions and folklore of the Norse people. And in the modern era, the story has experienced a remarkable revival. In the 20th and 21st centuries, the story of Heimdall has been rediscovered and reinterpreted by modern artists, writers, and creators. The story appears in video games, most notably in the God of War series, where Heimdall appears as a character and plays a significant role in the narrative. The story appears in films and television series, in shows like Vikings and in movies like Thor. The story appears in contemporary literature, in novels and short stories that reimagine the Norse myths for modern audiences. This modern revival of the story reflects a deep human need to connect with ancient wisdom, to find meaning in the stories of our ancestors. The story of Heimdall speaks to universal human experiences, the burden of responsibility, the cost of duty, the loneliness of standing apart from others, the struggle to maintain order in a chaotic world. These themes are as relevant today as they were in ancient Norse times. Perhaps they are even more relevant as modern people struggle with questions of responsibility, of the balance between personal happiness and duty, of the cost of maintaining order in a chaotic world. The story has also influenced modern spirituality and philosophy. Some modern practitioners of Norse paganism and heathenry have adopted Heimdall as a symbol of vigilance, justice, and the maintenance of order. They see in Heimdall a model for how to live with integrity and honor, even when the cost is high. They see in Heimdall a symbol of the importance of standing firm in one's principles, of maintaining one's vigilance against the forces of chaos and disorder. The story has also influenced modern discussions of morality and ethics. The way that Heimdall stands alone at Bifröst, maintaining order despite the cost to himself, raises questions about the nature of duty, about the relationship between personal happiness and responsibility, about the price that must be paid to maintain order in society. These are questions that are deeply relevant to modern society, where many people struggle with the balance between their personal desires and their responsibilities to others. The story has also influenced modern discussions of power and control. Heimdall's role as the guardian of Bifröst, as the one who decides who is allowed to cross and who is not, raises questions about the ethics of power, about the ways that those in authority use their power to maintain control, about the consequences of maintaining boundaries and barriers. In popular culture, Heimdall has become a symbol of the watchman, the guardian, the one who stands apart from others in order to protect them. This image has appeared in countless works of fiction, from fantasy novels to comic books to video games. The image of the eternal watchman has become iconic, a symbol that is immediately recognizable to anyone familiar with Norse mythology. The legacy of the story of Heimdall is thus a complex and multifaceted one. The story has survived for over 1,000 years, has been preserved through periods of religious and cultural change, and has been reinterpreted and reimagined countless times. And yet the core of the story remains the same, a tale of vigilance, of duty, of the price that must be paid to maintain order in a chaotic universe. These themes are eternal, and they will continue to resonate with human beings as long as humans exist to tell stories and to listen to them.